was the California. Why are people leaving California? This is a CNBC doc. What's driving California's mass exodus? And
It's been called the anti-California dream, the tech exodus, the Great Migration.
Between 2008 and 2000.
So I'm very excited to watch this one. Hold on, I gotta go pee while this runs, though.
18,000 companies have left California for more tax and regulatory friendly states.
Dom, we're talking about Elon Musk moving from California to Texas.
Oracle saying they are changing their corporate headquarters from Redwood Shores, California to Austin, Texas.
And while it may be an overstatement to say California is hemorrhaging people, some of California's wealthiest residents, like Elon Musk, are leaving too.
California has to realize that eventually all of the anti-business laws and regulations they passed, we're going to catch up with them.
Erica Douglas was an early part of the exodus. She moved her SEO software company, Whoosh Traffic, and her employees to Austin 6 years ago.
I can remember writing one check to the state of California for 1 year, and it was like $24,000 for a year. And that was just income tax to the state. That was not federal tax.
The state's population and job growth have both slowed to a trickle. Census data shows more than 650,000 people left in 2019, after 7 years in a row where departures were on the rise. In fact, California has lost more people to other states than it's gained for much of the last 2 decades. And with the rise of remote work in 2020 adding extra flexibility, over 135,000 more people left California than moved here, the third largest net migration loss ever recorded.
As we lose really successful businesses such as Oracle and Hewlett-Packard, that changes how many high-paid jobs we're going to have, changes really the whole nature of the state. It changes how many tax dollars go into Sacramento, how many tax dollars fund our schools, whether there's money left over to repair roads and bridges. It's really a huge problem that the state is facing.
We asked the experts and those leaving, what's behind this trend? Can anything be done to reverse it? Or is this a true shift for business in California as we know it?
Not Texas go to Oklahoma? That's not happening, brother.
For a century and a half, California was in an almost constant state of growth, with booming business and expanding population.
There's something magic in California. The culture just seamlessly and consistently moves towards what's next with new ideas.
California's gold rush that started in 1848 led to one of the largest migrations in U.S. history, with hundreds of...
Can CA get rid of income tax like Texas? No, and also they shouldn't. What the fuck are you talking about? Dude. These guys want to move to low-cost sites, okay? Oklahoma has tried to make it happen for a very long time. Texas has been able to actually make it happen because of Austin and whatnot. But those areas inevitably are going to become shitty and hard to live in, as Austin is, from what I understand, turning into. And what instead should be happening is fucking federally mandated taxes across the board beyond federal taxes, so that these sorts of movements don't happen, where there is a race to the bottom and every state operates basically like fucking Ireland, okay? The positive aspect of the mass exodus from California is that, first of all, there's always going to be jobs here. That's ridiculous to assume that, like, the tech industry is the only fucking industry in Los Angeles, right? And secondly, it'll hopefully make it so that these people that originally could not live in the areas that they grew up in can be able to live in these areas once again if the housing market normalizes. I don't think the prices will go down, but realistically, it would be great if that happened. Apparently, CA's corporate income tax is 8.84, so the lady who's complaining about spending $24,000 literally made $2.5 million. Yeah, it's fucking dumb, dude. Look, I'm going to be paying a boatload of taxes this past year, and it's so fucking silly that people are like, I don't want to live in California anymore. Yeah, you piece of shit. You're a piece of shit. Okay, get the fuck out of here. There's always two sides to a coin. Yeah, there's the piece of shit side of that coin. Okay, that's all it is.
Thousands coming from across the country and the world. The population explosion qualified California for statehood in 1850, just a few years after it was ceded by Mexico. California was an economic
Don't let the fucking door hit your ass on the way out. That's what I say.
powerhouse by the end of the century, home to iconic brands like Wells Fargo and Levi Strauss. Scientists and researchers started flocking to the Bay Area in the early 1900s when San Francisco's port and nearby Moffett Field made the area a major hub for early telegraph, radio, and aerospace industries. Stanford University, founded in 1885, led the way in encouraging students to commercialize their ideas, leading 2 graduate students to start what many consider the first Silicon Valley startup in 1939, Hewlett-Packard.
California has been the leading indicator in software, digital technology, modern mobility, the environment, the space industry, and is the front door between the United States of America and the Pacific.
Cost of living from CA to Texas is like an 80% reduction, taxes 10%. This is true. This is also true as well. Cost of living in Texas is rising as well, depending on what areas you're moving to. And people are moving to Austin, and they're moving to Dallas, and they're moving to Houston. They're not moving to fucking random sides of Western Texas where cost of living is actually fucking low. But cost of living is a big difference. That is certainly true, especially because of real estate. Okay? Yeah, people aren't moving to fucking Arlen, brother, or Lubbock, Texas, Kona. Anyway, so cost of living is already increasing tremendously in these places because real estate is increasing, and that's what a big chunk of the fucking problem is for a lot of these people that live in California. Now, you are right, though. The people that complain about fucking taxes are literally complaining about 10%. Like, shut the fuck up, dude. Okay? Shut the fuck up. You're so silly. You're a silly bitch. The only thing that you could complain about is space, okay? That's the only thing. If you want to live in like a metropolitan area, then yeah, you're not going to have a lot of space in Los Angeles. It's hard. It's so insanely expensive to purchase a place in California or rent a place in California where you have space to your own self. That's it. That's the only big motivator that would potentially have someone like myself move out of California, which I love, to a place like Austin or to a place like Texas or to a different place. But I see no reason to do that because I love California. I like this place. Bro, you were being disingenuous. Cost of living in California is driven by Prop 13. That's not a problem they will have in Texas. Our cost of living is so high because we decided to limit property taxes.
Rim in the Asian markets. So watching our state fumble and stumble.
10% on 100,000 is $10,000. Do you think that's how taxes work? When you make $100,000, it automatically takes 10% of that? Like if you make $1 million, that's like, oh, there it is. Don't worry, when Texas becomes a communist blue state like CA, the companies will ask what went wrong and move to another state. Dude, Hasan, Texas is going to be a Democrat state. Come on, man. That's just more vote for us. Yeah, that's not what's going on, though. A lot of those fucking dipshits that are leaving California to move to Texas are literally fucking reactionary morons who are like, California is not red enough for me, dude. They're not turning Texas blue. Texas is turning blue because of the Hispanic population aging in to voter-eligible demographics. Not turning fucking blue because, you know, the dumbasses are moving into Texas. As a matter of fact, a lot of those dumbasses that are moving into Texas are the out-of-towner transplants that wear the fucking 10-gallon hats and vote for Ted Cruz over Beto O'Rourke. If you look at the actual stats, you would recognize that, like, Texas natives, more Texas natives voted for fucking Beto O'Rourke than they did for Ted Cruz.
Is not just something that's a California issue. It is a national and global issue.
California's economy has grown to the 5th largest in the world. It had $65.6 billion in VC investment in 2019, by far the highest of any state.
All that venture capital is concentrated in San Francisco and Silicon Valley. But once those businesses do get a cash infusion from venture capital and get on their feet and become successful, then the advantage of being in California and Silicon Valley.
Yeah, I fucking despise this shit, dude. VCs are so scummy. I'm sorry. It's literally a fucking gamble. It is a gamble of the highest magnitude. They take advantage of all the amenities that this fucking state offers, and then they move out. Like when they actually make it big. So fuck that. You know, fuck these people. Yeah, push the tech bubble out of California, move it somewhere else.
Is much less, and that's when we see them leaving.
For the longest time, you wanted to run in those circles. If you were in tech, you needed to be able to run into other people in tech and have that, you know, that brain there in one place. Increasingly, I think HP and others are sending the signal in a much more remote work-oriented environment where we have the tech, and we've also had this forced experiment in remote work that basically succeeded, that Silicon Valley is wherever you want to be.
HP is moving its enterprise division headquarters to Houston, and many others are following. Oracle, founded in the 70s alongside Apple and Atari, announced in December that it's relocated its headquarters to Austin. Palantir is relocating to Denver. Elon Musk moved from Los Angeles to Austin, where Tesla's building its next gigafactory.
What really is surprising is
Austin is so fucked. It's so fucked, dude. GG's to all the Texans. Austin is going to be, in the next 2 years, it is going to be the worst fucking place, dude. Everyone that moved there thinking that they could have like, a reasonable cost of living and that, like, you know, you could get affordable housing. Good luck. It's fucking gone. That opportunity is done, dude. Who was telling me that they don't have enough water as well? I feel like Texas real estate is real faulty. In a lot of places, it's like built on top of swamps too. Miskiff's house is about to be worth $2 million. That's probably true.
the really major big companies that have put down roots here are the ones that are leaving. The mom and pops are going as well, but when they leave, they take 20 workers or 30 workers with them. They're not taking thousands of workers with them, and they're not taking Elon Musk.
Other major companies that have moved their headquarters out of California in recent years include Toyota, Charles Schwab, Nestle, and Jamba Juice. A 2018 study found that 1,800 companies left in 2016 alone, relocating mostly to Texas, followed by Nevada, Arizona, Colorado, Oregon, and Washington. This has been a trend for a while, but
they're calling Arizona the Silicon Desert, right? That's like
accelerated now.
We have high taxes.
That's the other place that's like blowing
costs.
up.
Cost of living in California is about 50% higher than the median state. Public services are not being delivered. So we've never really had all of that combination occurring as we've had in the past. And we've never had alternative places to move to. So for example, now in Texas, in Austin, Texas, there's a big tech hub there.
Now that the pandemic has largely made commute times irrelevant, moving is easier and makes more financial sense.
Even if you would look and say, I wouldn't found a company in California now, there are huge costs in actually relocating your company. But those costs are less when a lot of your employees aren't in the office anyways and may not be coming back. And when California is saying we might raise taxes substantially while other states are saying we're okay, we're not raising them.
In a study of more than 2,700 Bay Area workers, 2 of every 3 say they'd consider relocating if they could always work from home. Something dropped.
Okay, so part of the reason why the Bay Area and part of the reason why Los Angeles are like high value real estate markets is because people just want to fucking live there. Part of it is, of course, because the industry's there, especially the tech industry, the tech bubble is in the Silicon Valley in the San Francisco Bay Area. But the other reason is like those areas were not fucking empty before this happened. There were still hella people that wanted to fucking live here because it's a nice area to live in. So one thing that will end up happening, in my opinion, is that all these people that are like offering stipends to move out of San Francisco and blah, 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 will end up hopefully lowering the fucking real estate prices in that marketplace a little bit. So it makes it a nicer area and I guess whatever would be the anti-gentrification that occurs in that area. So far, it hasn't happened. No matter what happens, if like, look, I am hopefully going to buy a house this year. You know, we'll see what happens. But I want to buy a place where potentially for my mom to live in or for myself to live in. I haven't figured it out yet. But looking at houses, the housing market in Los Angeles has not changed in its prices. As a matter of fact, they are super fucking expensive still. Houses are super expensive in Los Angeles. Why are they expensive? Because everyone who's wealthy still wants to fucking move to Los Angeles. And housing prices have gone up in Los Angeles. There are certain areas within the housing market that have gotten a little bit better. From what I understand, for example, in places like New York, multiple bedroom apartments have become more affordable because people don't want to live with other random strangers anymore during COVID. So if you're able to get like a 2-bedroom apartment, like you were able to rent a 2-bedroom apartment in a cheaper way than you ever were able to do so. People are buying because the rates are low right now. That's also true as well. Bro, you are just throwing your problem with gentrification into my home city in Austin. Bitch, I'm a gentrifier no matter where I go. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm just talking about like the potential positive outcomes of this exodus happening in California.
Dropbox, Twitter, and Facebook have offered, with the caveat that moving out of California could trigger a pay cut.
If I can live in Utah and work for a California company, or if my California company can move to Texas and I can stay or move anywhere else, then suddenly it's a lot easier to make the tax and other business cost decisions the front of mind decisions.
An Edelman Intelligence survey found that 53%...
Oh, also, here's another thing. It's top of the hour every hour. It's time for a 60-second ad break right now, ladies and gentlemen. So, if you no longer want to see the ads, all you need to do is subscribe. You can do it for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime, ladies and gentlemen, folks, boys, girls, and MBs. You can get a free Prime subscription by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account. Here's the fucking ad now. Here's the ad. All right.
Of Californians are considering leaving the state, with the desire highest among millennials.
I wanted to understand what the rest of the world was. I didn't want to be stuck in my tech bubble for the rest of my life. And that's also one of the reasons.
Would you buy a house in LA or would you move to a better place? I like LA, man. Yeah, if I have the capability of buying a house here, yeah, I'll fucking buy it here. Vice wants to DM them. Okay, guys, I will DM them. All right, chill out.
Happy 15 months, Hasan. Although when did you become Hindu with the dot on your head?
I'm an apartment manager in Seattle. Prices here have dropped by 30% since COVID started. I'm renting units in the city for $950. There were at least 1,300. Utah is getting called Silicon Slopes as well. CEO complains about the cost of living. Yeah, that's hilarious. But yeah, I've been looking at moving to Palm Springs from up in Silicon Valley. The move seems smart. Palm Springs is going to have a decent real estate and decent infrastructure, I guess, if you don't mind living in the desert. Why'd you move from New York City to LA? I didn't live in New York City. LA kind of sucks if you're poor. I'd leave if I could, but I can't. Yes, Los Angeles absolutely sucks if you're poor. 100%. Hopefully this exodus will make it a little bit more affordable and manageable to live in Los Angeles if you are poor. What is this? John Myers, this is a remarkable change in ICU capacity.
Hi.
Wait, what the fuck? So, one Mark offered earlier about Gavin Newsom during his COVID-19 presentation is his administration's 4-week estimate of ICU bed capacity. Yeah, except that's fucking insane to assume that the ICU bed capacity is going to go up to 33% from 0% when it's currently 0% and you decided to still open up the fucking floodgates. Capitalists don't live in the cities. They live in rural areas in compounds. No, I think capitalists still live in cities. Strange is the most notoriously Democrat-ran state has the largest homeless population. Yeah, because it's livable. If you're homeless, you don't fucking immediately die. And also, the Democrat-run state is insanely fucking horrible for the housing market.
Reasons I came to Austin early.
I think it's a reasonable question to say at what point does the state break. We're seeing that tested right now as we see the remote work environment.
Wealthy, influential individuals leaving recently include Oracle's Larry Ellison, Dropbox CEO Drew Houston, Palantir co-founder Joe Lonsdale, high-profile investors and influential personalities like Keith Rabois, Tim Ferriss, Ben Shapiro, Peter Attia, and Joe Rogan, who's leaving California for Texas.
I just want to go somewhere in the center of the country, somewhere it's easier to travel to both places, and somewhere where you have a little bit more...
Austin's airports are not even easy to fucking travel with, aren't they? So even that is fucking false, isn't it? I thought, like, traveling from Austin is not that easy. It has a fucking dog shit airport, I thought. Better than LAX? Bitch, everything is better than LAX. Well, not LaGuardia. LaGuardia is probably the worst airport in the country. LAX is pretty bad.
HasanAbi only for a bit in the first one, but I believe I get a decent amount of time on the second one.
Oh god, so bad.
To see your take on things. I believe this Q things is stranger than most people know. Hashtag much love.
I have to go to Dallas for international and smaller hubs. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's limited direct flights out of Austin, I'm assuming. It's kind of like the Burbank airport. The only problem is sometimes you got to fly from ATX to Dallas or Houston.
Freedom. Elon Musk also cited freedom as a major reason for his move to Texas, criticizing California's strict handling of the pandemic. Last May, Musk openly defied California shutdown orders by reopening his plant, facing strong reactions from some politicians.
If you're smart enough to build SpaceX, PayPal, Tesla, maybe we should have sat down with you and asked you, what do you need to be more successful in California?
And then there's all the other non-pandemic related regulations that come with living in a blue state. Democrats hold a veto-proof supermajority in both houses of the California state legislature. What some call progressive policies, others see as unfriendly to business.
We've really become highly regulatory when it comes to fuel use.
Isn't it great when a dude who started their company by getting billions of dollars in subsidy, which is fine. Like, I don't have a problem. That's literally what I want for a renewable energy sector. Could turn around and act like such a fucking annoying libertarian when he is the greatest representation of, you didn't build that on your fucking own. You know what I mean? It's great. But of course, if you ever say things like that, you will have all of those words crammed back down your throat because he has some of the most psychotic fucking fan base on the internet. Shouts out the fucking PewDiePie for creating the most annoying Reddit lords who turned into fucking Elon stans.
Automobile emissions, all those types of things. Water, cap and trade, to try to keep businesses from polluting too much. That's an imposition for some folks. All these things together make it more costly to do business in this state.
CNBC measures states on more than 60 different metrics in 10 key categories of competitiveness. In 2019, Virginia, Texas, and North Carolina took the top 3 spots. California came in 32nd and came in last when judged on the cost of doing business. When it comes to tax structure for business...
Wait, what did California come as?
And came in... North Carolina took the top 3 spots. California came in 32nd and came in last when judged on the cost of doing business. When it comes to tax structure for business, the Tax Foundation ranks California at the very bottom also, with only New Jersey ranked lower.
What businesses are finding is that they're able to create much more value for their shareholders. They're able to generate higher profits. They're able to hire very high quality workers at lower salaries in other places.
While tax rates increase based on how much you make, California's top marginal income tax rate of 13.3% is far higher than any other state. New York's, for example, is 8.8%.
This is a personal income tax form in California. I never want to see one of these in the great state of Texas.
9 states, including Texas, have no individual state income tax.
Literally fucking moron, dude. You could build so much with that.
Tax on wages.
Now, these states all have other taxes that offset this to some degree. Texas has high property taxes. Washington has gone after businesses with a lot of unique business taxes. But nonetheless, when you look at California, that's high on almost every tax across the board, even a state that has some trade-offs can look really good.
There are groups working on incentives to keep businesses and innovators in the state, even if they're looking to leave high Bay Area costs behind.
You can take that Bay Area level income and it goes so much farther.
The greater Sacramento.
Yeah, lol, because the Bay Area income is going to fucking translate, right? No, the reason why a lot of these businesses want to move to Texas is so they can pay you a third of your fucking salary, dummy. That's literally it. Like, they call them low-cost sites on purpose. Like, that's why Boeing has a fucking factory in the middle of Oklahoma, so that there's less regulations there. And also they can get away with paying you significantly less for the same work.
Economic Council launched a campaign to attract remote workers with newfound flexibility.
Not if you're an engineer. You are literally incorrect. Even in Oklahoma, an engineer's salary. Dude, how are you going to say not if you're an engineer to me, motherfucker? My brother literally moved from Oklahoma to Los Angeles at Boeing. Like, what are you talking about? He's an aerospace and mechanical engineer who builds fucking satellites. I literally know what the engineering salary looks like at an introductory level, and also when you move further in the ranks in your own company for the same fucking job between Oklahoma and Los Angeles. You mean software engineer?
All three of my kids are in their 20s. If I'm starting my life in my 20s and I'm picking any place in the world to start it, I'm picking California.
On a state level, California has approved giving more than $73 million in tax credits to 22 high-growth companies over the next 5 years through its California Competes income tax credit. But the application process is highly competitive. Still, California's business taxes are some of the highest in the nation, and certain cities tack on even more.
San Francisco just passed what they call the overpaid CEO tax, where companies will start paying tax.
It's just like these are all band-aid measures too. That's the other fucking annoying part about this is like this stuff is all preventable. You can get around it. You can hide your assets. Like you're saying based, but it's not really like it's nothing. Like that's why people are fucking leaving. Like this is a problem that you need to solve at the federal level for the most part. And it's not going to eliminate the issues. The companies moving to Texas are the companies no software engineers wants to work for anywhere like Oracle. Fuck them, they're the devil. I mean, I think software engineers would still very much be excited to work for the fucking devil if the devil is offering them a job. And more importantly than that, healthcare. My company based in CO, Tulsa, bought a PNW located company and forced everyone to take at least a 20% cut unless exec probably. And we already got paid under competitors. These people are delusional if they think their wages will be the same. They're literally moving to cut costs to give more to board/execs.
Taxes depending upon the ratio of the CEO salary to the median worker at that location.
While the super wealthy may be fleeing disproportionately high taxes, the cost of living comfortably is a consideration for everyone in California.
I always rented when I was in the Bay Area. I never had enough money to buy a house there. I bought my first house here in Austin. You can live 20, 30 minutes away and have a house for $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 and have a nice little backyard and a place for your dog to roam around and a place for your kid to play.
Having a little bit more.
That is like legitimately the only reason why you would potentially move out of California, honestly. I mean, you can't do that unless you're like a multi-millionaire, billionaire, fucking gorillionaire Andy. You're not going to get that. What are you guys saying? Oh, 500,000 house. Wait, what? She makes $2 million a year. She's lying. Only $500,000. Oh, she's saying the house is only $500,000. Yeah.
For space.
That's like, I mean, brother, I'm only aware of the New Jersey real estate housing market, or the New Jersey real estate market in Los Angeles, and a little bit with New York. So $500,000 is a comfortable and very affordable place from where I'm standing. Okay, that's That's cheap as fuck, brother. Especially if you get like fucking a backyard with that. Are you kidding me, dude? A mansion with a backyard for 500K is whew, excellent, dude. You'll get like a little backyard for that. My apartment is $500,000. Son's apartment is $500,000 a month. No, it's $1 million a month. The idea that these CEOs make the bulk of their dollars on their W-2 is fucking hilarious. Money makes money, simple dividends and shit. Something that requires no hard work, mind you. Yeah, they're not. Yes, like taxing annual income is perhaps the worst way to try to actually tax people.
Land, and it just feels right.
Realtor Scott Shepard relocated his family from Riverside, California to northern Idaho in 2019.
All of our major line items across the board are significantly lower at the rate of 30 to 40%. We've got $1.98 for a gallon of gas.
Shepard runs ExitCalifornia.org, one of a growing number of online relocation companies helping people move. He says about twice as many people have been reaching out about the service since the pandemic began.
Lots of restrictions, lots of regulations, freedoms being taken away.
Housing is impossible in California. We are, by all estimates, between 3 and 4 million units short of housing.
The median single-family home in San Francisco.
This is fucking bullshit, dude. This is bullshit. Okay. There are 56,000 vacant units. Or no, there are 56,000 homeless people in the state of California. And in the Bay Area alone, it's like 3 times that, dude. The number of vacant units. Okay. The reality is not that there isn't like available housing. The reality is that there's so many fucking vacant units because it's financially appropriate to for people to sit on vacant properties rather than put them to use because the property value is going to keep going up. I mean, a great example of this, I retweeted one of these, like, I think it was like, save Koreatown accounts the other day where it's like Standard LA is a hotel. Standard LA is going out of business. Okay. They are closing up shop. And instead of doing anything about it to like reappropriate it, get certain funds to reappropriate these like closing hotel to help homeless people through this time. There's 100,000 hotel rooms in LA, 100% FEMA reimbursement if hotels are used to shelter the unhoused. There's 66,000 homeless people in LA County, which is a low estimate, and 4 people die while homeless every day in LA. And the Standard Hotel on the Sunset Strip is scheduled to close tomorrow. It's like there are better fucking ways to utilize so much empty space that we currently have in Los Angeles. So much empty space that we currently have in California in general. And people don't want to do that. There's a difference between housing and affordable housing, though, so the vacant units will most likely be high value. Like, exact issue with London. The only property developed is high value for bankers, therefore lots of vacant properties. Exactly. I know. And that's a fucking gigantic problem. And people that say, like, oh, we need to build more housing. We need to build more housing. Yeah, great. That sounds awesome. But you don't, those people never want to say, we need to build affordable housing. They don't build affordable housing. Their argument is, well, we'll build more fucking luxury high-rises, which is exactly what has happened in California. And then ultimately, that'll drive down the cost of all the other affordable or all the other luxury high-rises to affordable prices. Has not happened in the past 10 years and will not happen. Okay? It's just not happening. All that ends up happening is like out-of-state investors come in or foreign investors come in and buy that investment, buy that property as an investment and just sit on it. And all you have is just empty luxury condominiums in the middle of a fucking city where there's 66,000 homeless people. It's fucking disgusting. But hey, as long as you can push the homeless people away to another fucking area, away from your eyes, away from your gaze, then that's fine. It's like they don't exist. I live in New York. I pay $4,000 a month for a place without bathroom. I shit myself around the streets. Plug you, America. Yeah. I've never seen so many homeless people as I did when I visited LA, and I live in freaking Buenos Aires, Argentina. Yeah. Oh, by the way, breaking news, but apparently Senator Leahy is in his Capitol office and is not feeling well. He was examined at the Capitol by the attending physician, and out of an abundance of caution, the attending physician recommended that he be taken to a local hospital for observation, where he is now and where he is being evaluated. Of course, you might recognize Patrick Leahy's name. He has held office as the Democratic senator since 1975. He is, of course, 80 years old. He was, of course, supposed to preside over Trump's Senate impeachment trial. So, very cool. You know, we got Feinstein. How many fucking senators do we have over the age of 80? How many senators over the age of, let's see, 75? This is such a funny article. 10 oldest members of the current United States Congress, updated 2020. 10. Bill Pascrell, 83 years old. Grace Napolitano. Remember, Leahy doesn't make it into the top 10 oldest at the age of 80. The 10 oldest person is 83, guys. Pat Roberts, 84. Eddie Bernice Johnson, 84. Jim Inhofe, 85. Richard Shelby, 86. Chuck Grassley, 86. Dianne Feinstein, 86. Don Young, ironic, 86. Listen, if your ears, because your ears never stop growing, what they should do is they should literally fucking impose a rule where, like, if your ears have grown beyond a certain point, you're not allowed to be a senator. I'm an earist, dude. He's fine. Senator Durbin told Wolf Blitzer that Senator Leahy's wife, Marcel, who is a nurse, reported back that Leahy's doing fine. He's resting comfortably at the hospital. Durbin emphasized the hospital trip was out of an abundance of caution. Yo, we gotta fucking realize at some point that, like, you know, these dudes are gonna die. Like, why are you risking it? Like, why is that a risk factor that we have to take into consideration? Especially on a 50-50 narrow majority. Like, don't trust half these fuckers to drive to work, but we're supposed to be cool with these fossils running the government. I mean, we're not. Are you guys cool with that? Because I'm not cool with it. You can call me ageist all you want, by the way. Vermont has a Republican governor, but he's like fucking woke. So it's not. Did you know Dianne Feinstein is running for re-election in 2024? I heard about that. It's a fucking meme. I don't think Dianne Feinstein makes it to 2024. I think she will die before that. Like, she is way too fucking old. I'm sorry. Like, Vermont has a special election law. Yeah, exactly. All right, let's keep going. He's a woke Republican. Republican governors in like very woke areas, in relatively woke senates relatively woke states, don't make like psychotic Republican moves most of the time, or they're fairly limited in who they can appoint. And in Vermont, the Vermont Republican governor, I'm certain, is not. He can't appoint someone to that position.
Costs about $1.6 million. Rent in San Francisco is easily $5,000 to $6,000 per month. So you multiply that, and that means you're not hiring someone who is technologically advanced and skilled without paying them $150,000, $170,000 per year. And you simply don't need to pay that type of salary in Texas.
Although California remains a top destination for people moving from other countries and rich transplants relocating from out of state, the White House reports nearly half of the country's unsheltered homeless people live on the streets of California. And a growing number of middle and low-income people are moving out of state, with the majority of those leaving reporting an annual income under $100,000.
Whether they are people...
You literally... And those people are leaving out of necessity. Because if your annual income is of or less than $100,000, especially if it's less than like $75,000, you just can't live in the Bay Area. You certainly can't live in the Bay Area, and you can't live in fucking Los Angeles. This is why I always say, like, 100K does not take you the same fucking way in Los Angeles as it does in Oklahoma, guys, or in fucking Texas even. Like, you need at least 75 to 85. I think it's 85K for comfortable living in San Francisco, right? 100K is a lot. What the fuck? 100K is rough in LA with rent and stuff. Guys, rent is fucking insane here. The cost of living is so fucking high, dude. Yeah, I debated viewers on this specifically, by the way. And people were saying, like, you're fucking a liar. You're crazy. For a single person, not for a family. Oh, yeah, I'm talking about a single person, too. Yeah, for a family, you got to double that shit.
At the car wash, baggers at the supermarket, attendees at the rest homes. And what are we doing to assure ourselves that we'll be able to keep that critical...
Debate Lord take on this is that people should just stop moving to the coast, and he thinks it's just because the coast area is considered cool and that they don't have any other reason except prestige because jobs are everywhere in the U.S., even in bumfuck nowhere. Yeah, that's a fucking completely psychotic take that erases the millions of people that are just born there and do not have the means to leave their fucking hometowns. Like, literally, this video is describing what the jobs that these people have. Like, I love that fucking Debate Lord take because there are so many fucking people that live there. There are so many fucking people that live there, and they live there because that's where they were born. That's where they grew up. That's where their fucking family and their friends and their everything is. You can't just like up and move to fucking Nebraska from the Bay Area. And then on top of that, there are jobs there too. They have their jobs there. Because ultimately in San Francisco, you still need to clean fucking toilets. In San Francisco, there is still a need for baristas. It's just that the baristas are now living 3 hours or 4 hours away.
Part of our employment infrastructure, those folks at the bottom, because we're toast without it.
Of those surveyed by Edelman Intelligence, 53% cited housing as the primary motivator for relocating. Hiring in a state with a lower cost of living also helped Douglas get her startup off the ground.
It opens up the ability for people to work for startups the ability for people to not have to feel like they're paying their whole life savings for an apartment every month, and my ability as a business owner to be able to hire those people at a very reasonable and fair rate, but a rate that's not going to be like a Google $450,000 a year right out of the gate type of thing.
Meanwhile, the pandemic has robbed California of some positives once used to justify its high cost of living.
When I went looking to raise money for my startup a few years ago, a lot of investors in San Francisco said, well, I want to be able to sit in on board meetings in person. You know, I will only invest within a 50-mile radius of San Francisco because I want to be able to sit on those board meetings. Well, now board meetings are conducted via Zoom and the minutes are distributed through email.
Now, if you can work anywhere, you don't care. You can go somewhere else that has a lower cost of living and a lower cost of taxation. So a lot of states, not just California, but New York and other states that have historically banked on offering something unique, have to worry that they're not so unique anymore.
With an economy bigger than many countries.
The other funny part about this is like, all these people are going to move to Texas, and then in places like Texas, they're going to have to raise property taxes, which they already are suggesting. Same with fucking Arizona, where they're like literally just recently implemented an additional, I think it's called the millionaire's tax or whatever, where they added a top marginal tax rate in Arizona so they could fund education. So, like, good luck, guys. You know what I mean? You'll still blame California, but... And they should do that, by the way. That's the smart thing to do. You see an influx of millionaires coming into your town, you bet your fucking ass the tax raises should be coming. 100%. You crazy? Don't let them get away with not fucking paying shit. Are you crazy, dude? It's bullshit. Let them keep moving around the country. Maybe they'll end up populating Wyoming or some shit.
Will California feel the impact of big companies leaving? And with super earners paying 40% of the state's tax revenues, can California afford to lose billionaires like Musk, one of the richest men in the world?
Pay 40% of the state's tax revenues.
Can California afford to lose billionaires like Musk, one of the richest men in the world?
Some states, like New Jersey, has actually had to amend budgets when a single billionaire left the state. California would not be at that point where Elon Musk leaving California means they have to amend their budget. But as he leaves, and as companies like HP and Oracle and others relocate a significant amount of their operations, this has a huge impact.
Anyone making above 250K got their taxes hiked by 3.5%, so it's 8% in Arizona now for people making above 250K.
And in the long term, the investments they would make, them being located in a different place, the employment opportunities.
For those who have left, there are new challenges to contend with in new states, including resistance to Californians changing things elsewhere.
This is not an invitation to simply transfer the of California to Texas. We Texans are very inviting to people from California, but that doesn't mean we want you to California or Texas.
I don't want...
Oh my God, shut the fuck up, bitch. Oh God, he's so fucking annoying.
Want Austin to just become the next San Francisco. I think what we want is to have Austin's own unique culture make startups that work.
For a while there, I was a little bit insecure to let anyone know that I was from California. When I first moved here, I had California plates, and I had individuals giving me a nice...
Good argument. It's not even an argument that needs to be had, dude. It's so dumb. It's like half of those people that are talking about it, literally, that other lady is not even fucking an Austin native. She literally moved to Austin because it was a low-cost site for her originally. So her talking about, like, Austin's unique culture, like, what do you mean Austin's unique fucking culture, dude? Like, you're not promoting Austin's unique culture by opening up fucking blue bottles in every corner, okay? That's not Austin's unique culture.
Nice, steady...
What do you mean, fucking Mexican culture? Is that what you mean when you say Austin's unique culture?
Horn behind me on the freeway to let me know that they weren't happy that I was in front of them.
Where Shepard moved in Idaho, as in other states, California transplants drive up housing prices.
People who live here, they're getting priced out of the market. I mean, you've got 10, 15, potentially even 20 people making an offer on the same property.
And there are certainly things to miss about the Golden State.
My heart still, has a piece of California in it. It's a beautiful state, and it has so many wonderful things about it. I still have family there, but until I see things change
Also, the fun part about what they don't tell you is the business owners that are natives to these regions, like the actual fucking oil barons and shit, love when you Californiaize those regions. You know, you want to know why? Because no matter how we fucking talk about it, everybody loves getting Chipotle. Everybody loves getting fucking Blue Bottle coffee. So that's precisely why if you go to fucking Oklahoma City, there is like, what is it called? Like Bricktown and numerous other places where you can get like a fucking whiskey bar with an X in the middle of it, like Whiskey X. And you're like, what the fuck? Am I in Brooklyn or am I in goddamn Oklahoma City? And they love that sort of fucking gentrification because a lot of the people that are coming in that make a lot of money, a lot of people that come in that make a decent amount of money, no matter how conservative they are, still want to go to fucking Whole Foods and still want to be able to go to like, you know, these sick fucking whiskey bars and shit so that their way of life isn't changed too dramatically. And that's precisely why a lot of those actual native wealthy motherfuckers want that to happen so they can bring in young people, okay, to those low-cost sites and bring in industry to those low-cost sites. Because part of the problem, rather, with places like Oklahoma or even all these other places like in Arizona and shit is that you can't keep young people there because nobody wants to fucking live in Oklahoma City. Nobody wants to live there. Everybody's like, what the fuck? I don't want to live here. It just sucks ass.
Changing statewide, I don't anticipate things changing anytime soon.
Still, a few big names, like Twilio CEO Jeff Lawson and Airbnb CEO Brian Chesky, have committed to staying in the state, and specifically the Bay Area.
If enough feel that way, that could work. The challenge is that at some point, they'll do the calculation of, okay, what would my books look like if I was in California, San Francisco versus where I in Texas?
And many of the biggest Silicon Valley-based companies haven't announced any plans to leave.
Google, Apple, they are doing so well that the last thing they have to think about is moving. It's very much in their interest to stay here and get the latest of what's going on. Mine, if you will, these beautiful minds at places like Stanford and Cal.
But if California's people are the true draw, will it lose its edge if enough of them leave? Some say there's a tipping point at which the flow of businesses and people out of California outpaces its incubation of fresh ideas that entices businesses to come and to stay.
It's a challenging issue that California faces, and there's really no solution other than to make the state more competitive in terms of business costs and taxes and in terms of housing costs. Until that's done, California will probably continue to lose businesses to other states.
For now, big tech stakeholders will watch to see how legislators handle upcoming proposals. Some would target tech companies specifically, taxing data or digital services.
One of the worst things you could do right now is signal to these companies that are on the fence, if you stay, the taxes are going way up. But that's the conversation we're having right now. And there comes a point in which a lot of businesses are going to say, we don't need to be in California, and increasingly we can't afford to be.
Other proposals could raise the corporate income tax to more than double the rate in all but one other state, or push the combined federal California top marginal tax rate to a whopping 53.8%.
I'm hopeful state legislators will take a step back and ask themselves, we better not do this. We're risking the state's economic future. We should make California a more friendly state to do business in. We don't want to drive away any more really incredibly productive, innovative people.
We've had mass.
I also don't know what their goal is. Like, are they trying to fucking drive the rich people out so that they can end up making it more affordable for poor people to live in those areas again, like de-gentrify these gentrified neighborhoods? I don't know. I legitimately don't know. That seems awesome. Okay, that does seem awesome, but like, there's no way in fucking hell that the most conservative liberal Democrats are trying to do that in the state of California. Like, I just don't believe that they would do that.
Bad recessions. We had a $35 billion budget shortfall in 2001. It cost the governor's job, but we've had those before. Somehow we come back, but you never know.
The funny part about it is, like, the reason why taxes are increasing for the wealthiest of the wealthy is because we know that they didn't fucking suffer. Like, They literally didn't suffer throughout this pandemic. They increased their fucking... Like, that's the most scummy part about this, okay? The most scummy part about the fucking wealthy people, like, complaining about larger and larger percentage of taxes is like, dog, you literally made more money in front of everybody's fucking faces. Like, you literally doubled your wealth, and here you are fucking crying about having to pay like 3% more in taxes, you piece of fucking garbage, dude. It's so scummy, dude. It is so fucking insanely scummy. Like, Elon Musk is like, I am leaving California to go to Texas. It's like, bitch, you literally became the wealthiest person on the planet this year. For no reason other than the fact that your car company is not technically valued as a car company, but is at a tech company, as a renewable energy company. And that's why you outcompete like Volkswagen, despite the fact that you don't sell as many fucking cars as they do. Okay? And you have SpaceX. Like, no reason? Question mark? Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, no reason. Here, let's talk about the fucking no reason Andes, okay? r/Wall Street Bet is about to blow up another hedge fund. This one valued at $13.1 billion before Reddit trolls decided to buy all GameStop. Lol.
Know when that time is going to be the last.
I don't know. I get so fucking triggered about this shit.